us, live for us there at the watch party with Congresswoman Nikema Williams, the incumbent, who has now kept her seat.
Yes, she has. And the panelists, the experts, the insight you can only get on the Georgia vote. It continues. Let's bring in our next batch of political experts if we can. Here we go. Deanna Harris, Kyle Gomez, Lineweber, Democratic strategist with Galeo Impact Fund, Republican strategist, both of you with reams of experience in statewide politics. Let me start with this. As we watch these results come in, Deanna, what is it like when you're with a candidate, when you've campaigned your heart out for months and now it's election night, the hay is in the barn and you're just watching these results with everybody else? What is that room like?
Well, I know it from two different perspectives, right? From being the candidate and then also working with the candidate. And so, you know, you're biting your nails. And I can imagine that most people are. I see that President Trump could be biting his nails because it's still so early for all these returns. And even our down ballot candidates, right? So we have a lot of sheriffs on the ballot and commissioners as well. So they could be nervous because most people are challenged, you know, and it's been pretty tough. You never really know what the districts are going to do. Some of them are light blue. We don't know what's going to happen with Cobb County. So that's kind of exciting to see. There's a lot of challenges for Cobb County. So very nervous.
And you really can't take your foot off the gas here, Kyle. I mean, these candidates, they got to go until the very end.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, that's why, from Galeo's perspective, we, as a C3 organization, stayed out at polling locations, ensuring that voters were able to make it to the polls, as well as providing language access to voters, because we know that here in the state of Georgia, it's going to come down to the numbers we see with that broad, diverse coalition that we saw elect Joe Biden, and that we saw make Georgia competitive in 2016.
A long night. A lot of results to track. We're seeing about 47% of the results in Georgia are in, but the critical remaining 53% we are still waiting for. While we wait for them, we're going to bring you them as soon as we keep getting them. And I think we actually maybe can show some of them now, which is great. Let's bring up this map when we get a moment, because I want to get both of your perspectives on this. Kyle, let's start with you. When you look at the big board here, when you look at the map, what is the story that you're seeing as we start to see a little more color, a little more shading on the map here?
Well, I think I can understand why some Republicans might be feeling confident. However, you know, half of Georgia's population lives in the metro Atlanta area. We still haven't seen those returns in Gwinnett. Looks like we haven't seen any returns in DeKalb either. And, you know, the vote is still rolling out in other metro Atlanta counties as well. So as those numbers roll in, we'll have a clearer picture of what is actually happening.
Deanna, is this maybe the big key here? Is the core metro the biggest prize on the board?
All right, as Kyle said, most of our population lives in that region, but let's not forget about rural Georgia. They could still possibly carry President Trump through if they come through really strong for him, and it can overweigh the metro area.
And we don't have any numbers from Gwinnett yet. We do know that it is the second largest county in the state. So when those numbers do come in, that is going to be an indicator. We know that Gwinnett went blue in 2016. It stayed blue. The former president, I believe, holding a rally in Gwinnett at the, was that Gas South, right? In Duluth that you were at. And so that's another place where he had one in Cobb and one in Gwinnett as well, a place that they are really trying to hone in on some of those voters who might not be happy with what President Biden and the Democrats have done for the last 4 years. I want to ask you guys about this. Just as we look at these numbers coming in, you see as we go to our totals, I believe we have about just under 50%, 47% of the estimated total vote, 2.5 votes to be counted. We believe it's going to be somewhere in the 5 million number, maybe over 5 million of total votes coming in. What were your initial thoughts going into this race? I want to start at the top of the ticket and then going into some of the races that you're watching in the middle. Deanna, at the top of the ticket, are you feeling good right now?
I feel good, but 2.5 out of 5 million, but we have 7 total million voters, right? So, Still kind of nervous, but Georgia's one of the states that we definitely need to win for that top of the ticket. Down ballot, it looks like a lot of our incumbents are holding their seats, so that's a really good sign. And that could help President Trump as well, right? Some of those down ballot voters could carry the top of the ticket, so that's something that we're looking at.
And Kyle, how about you? How are you feeling right now? Are you nervous at all?
Well, I'm always nervous on election night. You won't find me not nervous on any election night.
If you ask a political pro and they say cool as a cucumber, right, they might be fibbing.
Right, exactly. But that being said, I'm still very optimistic about Vice President Harris's chances here in Georgia, as well as nationally. She has so many routes to winning the White House, with or without Georgia. Obviously, we hope with Georgia, and then as my colleague here mentioned, at the state legislative level, we're watching a number of races. We have House District 48, Senate District 48, where Ashwin Ramaswamy is running against Sean Still, Laura Marvartian.
And Kyle,
yes,
we are going to get right back to you.
absolutely.
We are hearing right now that we want to